are marking hexagons that go all the way up to and look at this wonderful border. So now what I want to do is I've got to recognize the lines that I'm going to need to get rid of to make sure that they're going to interlock. So going out from the center, this is obviously the center, you see the center line. Out this way, the diagonal is going to be here on the up and the down side. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a line here, here, and I'm just doing this so that way when I go to get rid of it, once you do it a few times, you won't need to do this. But now I know that these are the lines I'm going to get rid of to make it interlocking. And now I'm going to get my blue line erase, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll get rid of those lines. And I'm simply going to put just a little bit there, little bit there. Get rid of that. Little bit there. Little bit there. Little bit here. Little bit there. My bottle's coming out a little fast. I've had this bottle for about 15 years. And again, notice the marks I have on the top of my bottle with that marker. That means that this is my blue line erase rather than my oil, because I never want to use oil on a quilt accidentally, because I use these same guys to oil my machine. Now, that's going to dry, and then you'll see when we come back, and you can see already how that's going to make them then interlock. What I am going to do is, as this dries, and it only takes about 5 minutes, I'm going to go over to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process, except I'm going to go the opposite way. Here we went upper left to lower right diagonal on both areas. Now when we get to the other side, it'll be the opposite. It'll be upper right that way, and that way it'll look perfectly mirrored from the center out. And then after this dries, I can go ahead and use the blue and just kind of refine those lines a little bit where I overshot with my blue line erase. Okay, so let's head over to the other side. Okay, so now on the other side, we will go the other diagonal. On the left side, we went this way on top and bottom. So on this side, we'll go that way. So I'm going to go ahead, give my little guide mark. And again, this is just a cover my butt thing. Back, you won't always have to do this once you've done it a few times. Come on, little guy. And this little 5 or 10 minutes of marking will save me so much time once I start quilting. And potential for mistakes. Again, you could just simply go for it without getting rid of these, but I gotta tell you, your mind will be somewhere else when it shouldn't be, and you'll, oops. Okay, so now again, we're gonna wait, we're gonna let that dry, and then we will refine the marks and make them perfect for quilting in just a moment. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to refine those lines, and it doesn't matter what size hexie because I'm only focused on that and they're all the same angle. So I'm going to make sure, get that line in there well, and then I'm going to slide that over, there, there, and then I'll slide this over to make sure I get a good point that I lost when I did the blue line erase. Okay, and then let me look at that again, and then that guy too. So now there we go. So now that's perfectly intertwined, and so now I'm going to repeat that all the way down. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, lock my stitches here, and we're going to quilt these out. I'm going to do a nice thick line. Let me go ahead, pick up my stitches. I am using a beautiful copper metallic because why not be fancy? Got our stitches locked. Move that out of the way. Use my square ditcher today. I'm going to start. We are at 12 stitches per inch. I'm going to start on just precision stitch regulator rather than cruise. 1, 2, 3, stop, pivot. Line that up there, and actually let me get rid of my tail because you know I don't like those. Line that up. 1, 2, 3, stop, pivot, line it up. 1, 2, 3, stop, pivot, line it up. And I'm going to work my way all the way around. 2, 3, stop, pivot. 1, 2, 3. Remember, my marks are guidelines, they're not biblical. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead, slide up to here. Now I'm going to do the outside hexie of that one. 1, 2, 3, stop, pivot. 1, 2, 3, stop, pivot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Come down, go over, line that up. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Come over. 1, 2, 3. Stop. And now we're going to go ahead. We're going to move into that next hexie. I'm going to go up and 1, 2, 3, 4 to come back. Remember, just because I do an extra one, it's more than 3. It's not going to make it obtrusive. Once you put 2 or 3 in there, it's just going to be nice and bold. 3, stop, pivot, and then we're going to work our way all the way across exactly like we're doing right now. 2, 3, stop, pivot. And obviously this is not the only path that we can do. There are a lot of paths that we can take for this. I'm going to go ahead. 2, 3, come down. I'm going to angle that a little bit since my other one was off, just to kind of make up for that. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Come up. Follow that up now. And I already have that one done, so I'm going to go 1, and then slide right over here. 1, 2, 3. Stop, pivot. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go ahead and come all the way down and get that whole line done. 1, 2, and then slide over. And again, this is going to be good book on tape or music work. And you're just going to follow these lines. The lines are all there. You're simply going to make sure to hit all the lines. And if you miss one, you can always reattach and fix the section you missed, or travel each of these lines just like you would a ditch and do them as you go. And I am working my way, of course, past the middle here. This part so far has taken about 10 minutes, just nice, slow, smooth, back and forth. I do have a little bit of sticky on the back of my ruler just to keep everything stable, so that my line stays right on that line and it doesn't slip out of the way. And I do have a slow cruise mode on. I find that the metallic thread tends to like that better. I'm using the Superior brand metallics, and it's the new Superior, so it's recently, it's a recent spool. I've gotten a little bit of breakage, which I never used to get, so I'm finding that this particular spool, it likes the cruise mode, a nice slow cruise rather than a hard stop every time I come to a tip. It likes taking those few extra stitches. I'm finding that with a lot of threads recently that are new post-COVID. A little more fragile, you got to be a little more gentle with them. Let's see, come down. I've switched to my regular ditcher. It's the next day since we were filming before, and my hands are feeling pretty good, so I thought I would go back to my original favorite, my Ditcher 1. A little off there, but that's okay. Again, it always kind of goes back to the fact that I'm not a computer. You're not a computer. Once we get the fill in, that won't be noticed. Okay, so now we have that done, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and I'm going to leave the middle line, but I'm going to go ahead and go over all of these outer lines with the blue line erase, and that will clean it up a little bit.